Hello everyone and welcome back to Overwatch 101. I hope you've been enjoying this series. That's really my goal, is for people to enjoy it and to learn from it. This is a series where I help Overwatch console players get better. That's not to say we're bad at the game, but it's just well known in the community that playing on PC is easier, right? At least for most. But there are some of us that love console. There are some of us that just love the feeling of a controller in our hands. I know I do. It makes moving so much easier, right? You might be able to aim a little bit better with a mouse, but the movement is so much more fluid and so much more just natural on console. That's why I play on console. All right. Well, last video we covered Dorado attack payload, and it can be extremely difficult to do, right? Well, now we're going to cover Dorado defense, all right? And versus a good attacking team, Dorado defense can actually be pretty difficult as well. You have to be very engaged as a Dorado defense. You have to be very proactive. You can't sleep on them, right? You cannot autopilot. If you autopilot, you will lose. Okay, so when you're defending on Dorado and the match begins, you had better be up here, okay? If you are down there, you will die. Every time. No, I don't think I've ever been in a game where we held them the entire game down there. There's no way on this earth. They will flank around, okay? They'll go out their right door, they'll go out their left door, they'll flank around because there is an underground tunnel here where they can get all the way back and get right under here, right? I mean, there's all kinds of flanking routes here. So when you're here, right, you've got the high ground, and we've already discussed how important it is to have the high ground, okay? The high ground over there, right, that is okay to have, but it's too close to spawn, and they can shoot you from spawn. Anytime an attacker can shoot you from spawn, you are too close. Let me say it again. Anytime an attacker can shoot you from spawn, you are too close. You need to be here. They cannot hit you from spawn. They have to come around that corner, and from there, it's an uphill battle. However, right, you cannot let them get past this bend. This bend is where you want to fight them, right? You want to fight them here. Do not let them pass this bend, because once they get past this bend, okay, then they'll be starting this uphill area here, and we don't want them to get that far, because once they get that far, they'll gain the advantage, okay? This choke is your best friend, okay? If you do have to come down from that high point, okay? If you have to come down from there, which we'll talk about in just a second, first of all, I would like to finish by saying, if you come down here from that high point to fight it out and you team wipe, right? You team wipe, you kill everyone, you need to get your booty back up there, all right? You need to move, you need to go, you need to get back up here, all right? The rest of your team needs to come with you so that you can see what they're working with, okay? The only other option for defending this first checkpoint is down here in this choke, okay? If they do make it into and under the choke, you really do need to be here, okay? You need to be here in this choke because it's too dangerous to be anywhere else, all right? However, you do not want to be in the choke, okay? And right there is why. If you're standing right here, you will die. A Reaper will jump down and slaughter the whole team, okay? A McCree will jump down and flashbang you and kill you, okay? Anything can literally happen to you if you are this far, okay? You have to be at the crest of the hill. You have to be here, okay? So that you can defend against that and against that, okay? You also do not want to be too far back. If you're too far back, okay, they're going to Lucio boost like through this door and they're going to do some crazy mess, all right? You don't want that to happen. You have to be at the crest of the hill, making sure they can't take this flank, okay? And it's also really good to be here so that you can see them go through that door, right? If they go through that door to try to take this flank over here on you, you can see it and you can meet them over here, right? You can meet them up here if they're trying to take this flank and fight them off, okay? You do not want to let them get on even ground with you. So if you see them taking that flank, all right, you can't just sit here, right? You can't just sit here and wait. You have to come over here with your whole team, tell everyone, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's fight them here, all right? Now, if the payload is right there in the choke, okay, and you see the entire team move that way, then yes, the majority of your team needs to go over there. But you have to keep an eye on the payload, all right? At the top of your screen, you will see if there is someone on it. It will tell you, okay? Maybe someone's trying to be really sneaky, right? Let's say we all move off the point, okay, to fight them up there because we do not want to let them get right here, okay? If they get right here, all right, and we're right there doing this business, all right, and they get right there, they're going to kill us. They have a lot more likely chance of killing us if they're standing right there than if they're standing down there. So that's why we move to attack. However, we cannot let the payload just move. If we see 1 or 2 people on the payload, we need 1 or 2 people to sit back, okay, and provide support. Let us know what they're doing, what's going on, who's on that payload, and how we need to deal with it, okay? That's why communication is so important. All right. I took too long doing that. Let's move on, okay? I don't want to keep droning on forever. Once they get past that point, if they get up that hill, okay, then your best bet is to hit them in this choke, all right? You hit them in this choke because the payload is pretty big. It takes up almost this entire space. So they don't have a whole lot of room to be shooting you, all right? So you can use the payload for a little bit of cover here and just take pot shots, right? You can just pot shot at them, taking down their damage. The only thing you have to worry about right here are your flanks, okay? You absolutely have to watch out for your flanks. That's why the rest of your team is behind you, okay? To help you see that. All right? You got a flanker coming over here, you attack him, all right? You try to get the kill. He'll probably back off. Same thing over there. You see somebody coming, you attack them, all right? However, the payload is always priority, and they are too close to the checkpoint for you to be any further back than right here at this choke point, okay? You're just too close to be any further back, all right? You don't want to be up there, even though it's the high ground. You don't want to be up there. There's not a whole lot of room for your team to stand, and you're just too far from contesting. You need to be contesting, all right? Now, let's move on to the second choke point. Now, the second choke point, you can defend in a variety of ways, all right? One of the best things to do is to utilize these high grounds, right? Because they're going to come through that door, all right? And you have high ground here, and you have high ground here, and you have high ground up there. There's a ton of high ground right here versus their low ground, okay? If you hold this area right here, you can really stall their progress. But be aware, their spawn is right there, right? They are not that far from this payload. So if you hold here, you have to be vigilant, okay? You will get flankers from right there the whole game, okay? So even though you're holding here, okay, you don't want to just face this way the whole time. You kind of want to do this at an angle so that you can see what they're doing, all right? You have to be vigilant. All right, let's move on. Let's say they push and they gain this even ground. Well, I'll tell you where you do not stand, and it is right here in this low ground, okay? If they push that far, then they will have high ground on you here, and you do not want to be in this little dip right here. You either want to try and hold right here, okay? You might want to try and hold right here, but in all honesty, I would not advise it. I would advise just holding back here, okay? This is your best bet because they have to move into the dip, right? We don't want to be in the dip, right? The Nacho 7-layer dip. We don't want to be here, right? We want to be here, right? At the lip of the hill. Now, be aware, there are a lot of flanking routes right there, okay? They can also flank around. Let me show you so that you'll know. They can go that way, and that is a very long flank, but it is a very sneaky flank. They can go all the way around the entire map, okay, to get to us here. So we do have to keep a watchful eye out. That's why our supports are there, to help keep an eye out, right? So we want to hold them here. Now, if we can't hold them here, right? If they get this ground, do not back into this room. If you back into this room, they're just going to attack you. They're going to see this as you being submissive, okay? That's what it looks like, is you just backing into a room, right? And being submissive. You want the high ground. That room is not nearly as much of a high ground as you have right here. Plus, you have this choke point for them to go through. Now, granted, it's not that much of a choke. It's a pretty free and pretty wide choke. But, like I said, the payload will take up a lot of space, right? So you can hold them here, okay? This is a good place to hold them, right? Because after they get this far, let's say they do get this far, it's all even ground from here until the checkpoint. You want to hold them here, okay? If they get up here, then you just have to duke it out, all right? You don't really have time to be going up there. You don't have time to be going up there. You just have to duke it out if they get this far and contest this payload. You do not want to let them have that, okay? This is no-no. You don't let them have this. Now, unfortunately, it will happen, okay? There are times when you can fight your hardest, but they're still going to kill everyone, all right? They're still going to get that wipe. So, if they kill everyone, get this checkpoint, okay, they're going to be coming in here. I'll tell you where you don't want to be, right here. You do not want to hold right here, because that will happen, first of all, okay? And their spawn is literally right over there, okay? They can pretty much shoot you from spawn, okay? They can shoot you from way over there. You don't want to be here, right? And not only could they shoot you from way over there, there is a wicked flank that they can take from their spawn over there, right? They can take it up here, and then boom, right? They're on top of you, the Reaper's firing, you're dead, someone else is dead. Maybe they kill him, but then the rest of the team is in, and you're dead. You do not want to hold here. There's too much that you can't see, right? There is another flank over here that I almost forgot to mention. There's a flank that they can go through there. So they got two flanks that they can hit you on. You do not want to be here. This is no-no. This is Badland, all right? Now, this right here is an okay place to hold, depending on what you're working with. Maybe you've got a bastion, but you do have to be aware that at this point, you're a lot closer to this flank, okay? And they could all decide to sneak up on you, right? Because you can't really see them when you're up there. You can't really see them too well if they all decide to come through here, all right? They get a little bit, they've got cover here, so you can't shoot at them here. And then they come in and just attack, right? So this is more expert hold level, right? You can hold here, but that's more of an expert level hold. The best place to be, right, if you can help it, is holding this lane, right? And this is the first time we've mentioned this. You don't want your entire team to be up here, right? Because you don't want them to get that ground right there. But you also don't want your entire team down there. You want someone up here watching that flank, right? And helping snipe. You want things like that. And you want your big bruisers down here in this gigantic open area, right? The reason you want to hold them here is because once they get to this point, right, it becomes easier for them, right? Now, obviously, this last bit is going to be very difficult for them. We covered that before. But if you can hold them down here, you're doing a really good job, right? You don't want to let them get that close to the checkpoint. I'm sorry, the victory, I should say. That is the objective up there. You don't want to let them get that far. That is dangerous, okay? But if they see that you're not letting them have this, if they see that this is just not being negotiated at all, you're being aggressive, you're saying no, you're like, please leave, we don't like you, we're not going to let you have it, then they're going to go right there. They're going to go through there, they're going to go upstairs, and they're going to be behind you. Now, if they do that, your absolute best bet is to stick to the payload. Now, it is not your job to move the payload, but it is theirs. So if they go all the way around you to that point, then you can just stay over here with the payload, using it for cover, and all they can do is look on in jealousy that you're over here with their girlfriend, the payload, and they're not, right? So we can stay over here, gain some distance, right? Make sure that no one's sneaking up on us, right? We want to be really careful that no one's sneaking up on us. We've got a nice big health pack right here, okay, that we can get. This is a good place to hold if they decide to go that flank route, right? We can hold right here. And we've got their payload hostage, okay? Let's say they manage to kill us and they move this far. Now, if that payload is right here, okay, then you absolutely have to hold them right here. This is a fantastic choke to hold, okay? Now, I would not advise standing underneath it because that can be pretty dangerous. They can have a flanker go up there and he can jump down from behind and start killing everyone. I would advise holding right here, okay? You can see a lot better what's going on up there if you hold right here. And this is pretty much Custer's last stand. This is the last good place to hold, right? Because up here, even though you have the high ground, this is super close to a loss. This is super close to defeat. This is the absolute last place you can hold. So it would be really good if you could hold them here, right? Just to keep them from getting that extra bit of ground. You've got a good eye there. You've got a good eye there. You've got a good eye there. You can see quite a bit at this angle, right? You can even see them if they happen to sneak up on you. You can still see them if you keep this angle, okay? Now, if they've moved up this far, as I said before, this is the absolute last place you can hold, okay? Being over here, right? I've seen teams do this. Being over here is being too far, okay? This is an autopilot place. This is too far from the action. Okay, you have to be aggressive, even on defense. You have to be here and in their face and near the payload and not letting them have it. If you are over there or even in this area, you are too far from the payload. You need to be here, okay? Now, of course, if they get it really close, really close, you just have to contest at this point. There really is no holding anywhere else. You can't hold right here because they're just going to push the payload. Okay, you can't stall there. You just have to come out and attack. You can't hold over here because, first of all, there are these two big things in the way, so it's kind of hard to shoot over here. Second of all, you will not contest if you're over here. They're just going to push it and land right there and win. So when they get this far, you just have to beat it out of them. You just have to absolutely slaughter them, okay? Now, you might lose, and that's okay, right? You're not going to win them all, but these tips that I'm giving you will give you your best shot. You absolutely have to hold them here, okay? And if they make it, they make it. You've at least done your best. That's what matters. All right. This has been Overwatch 101. I hope you enjoyed the Dorado defense strategy guide, basically. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I'll be doing this kind of stuff for a long time to come. I hope you really enjoyed. I hope you find these tips helpful. Good luck in your Dorado defensive endeavors. This is Overwatch 101, signing off.